WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Matthew Foldi, editor-in-chief of Washington Reporter and a reporter for The Spectator, he flies over to Jerusalem in the capacity of his role as a reporter and editor-in-chief of Washington Reporter. I spoke to him as he was changing planes in Newark. I spoke to him Wednesday night, and I said, Matt, stay out of trouble and don't do anything stupid over there, and for God's sake, don't start a war. 12 hours
you
later.
Those words?
12 hours later, Foldi,
Wow.
What in the hell did you do?
Larry, you got to understand, you're a friend of mine. I couldn't tip you off to what I was actually getting up to over here. That would have kind of ruined the whole surprise.
There you go. So you're Mossad, aren't you? You're fitting the stereotype.
Well, no comments on that. I will say I have slept for about 2 hours since I got here.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I don't know. I was thinking about this. I don't know exactly what time zone I'm in right now, but all of this stuff that just went down happened on a very interesting date. Okay, it either happened on June 12th, which would be the anniversary of Ronald Reagan's Tear Down This Wall speech. And, of course,
Wow.
Israel is tearing down these reactors, or on June 13th, which would be 6/13. Now, why is that interesting? There are 613 mitzvot, commandments, in Judaism. So
that's right. Those are the tassels. Those are the tassels the Orthodox wear.
And this stuff, all of this went down at around 2:40 in the morning Israel time. I know that because that's when my siren went off here in Jerusalem. You know, I'd never been through one of these before. This was my first potential nuclear war rodeo. So just so your listeners get a sense of what everyone is going through in Israel, at least last night, was sirens go off all around the entire country to wake everyone up when after Israel struck these nuclear facilities in Iran. Then everyone in the country has, you don't know how long, a certain number of time to get to a safe zone or to a bomb shelter. So I need contacts. I had my glasses next to my bed, and then I had to find my hotel room key. I didn't really think on my first night in Israel, this is when everything's going to go down. Then I had to stumble into the hallway. I learned, I won't say how, that it's better if you have to choose between putting on pants and shoes, you want to put on shoes because maybe you need to run out, you need to evacuate.
Of course.
Then I got back to my room.
And there could be broken glass and all that stuff. Yeah.
Exactly right. So you want to avoid windows. This is just stuff that is everyday common sense if you live in Israel. You know all of these things, but, I haven't even been here for 24 hours yet, and I've already gotten, a master's degree in how to withstand ballistic missile strikes from the mullahs in Iran, which thus far have been completely unsuccessful.
Oh, well, Matt, first off, prayers are with you to cover you and protect you, keep you safe. First off, number two, this is amazing. I can't wait to read your edition of the Washington Reporter on this. This is absolutely incredible. And number three, of the retaliatory drone attacks that Iran sent, have you seen anything from that? Have you heard? Has there been any damage as a result of those?
Great question. So Iran has thus far, and remember, we are in a literal combat zone right now, so there is plenty of false reports, false alarms, tons of stuff. So everything that I'll say now, I basically quintuply verified. Iran supposedly launched about 100 drone strikes. This is, from our standpoint, sitting in Israel, better than ballistic missiles because drones take hours and hours and hours to arrive. They're much easier to shoot down than ballistic missiles. In Israel, strikes on Iran, the westernmost ballistic missiles on Iran's border were one of their top priorities to take out because those are the ones that can arrive at Israel as quickly as possible. So I spent time this morning sitting in a bomb shelter in my hotel because all of the entire country of Israel was anticipating something to happen. Now, its missile defense system was so successful that, Patrice, to your point, there is no sign of damage anywhere in the entire country of Israel because all of them were shot well in advance. There was not a single siren that went off to warn people that a drone or a ballistic missile was coming. But Iran is obviously continuing to saber rattle. Unfortunately for the Ayatollahs, Israel decapitated most of their leadership last night. Iran has pulled out of these negotiations with America because I don't think they got anyone left to be negotiating. So
Yeah.
today is strikingly normal. I've heard reports from Iran that people are scrambling to get groceries. It seems like the Iranian regime has shut off some of the internet access in the country. I'm using perfectly fine Wi-Fi right now. I got
Good.
great falafel and hummus for lunch today with no problem. Right now in Israel, it's strikingly normal.
Hold on.
Strikingly normal before Shabbat.
Did you get shakshuka? Did you have any shakshuka yet?
I had some shakshuka with breakfast.
Nice.
So I'm having like a normal day in Israel right now. It just so happens that most of the meetings that I had planned aren't happening. Go figure, because people are, I guess I'm not top priority for the Israeli military brass today.
We're glad you're safe and normal, God.
Yes.
Thank God. In fact, I wanted you to comment on a story. You are, of course, a Maryland man, a real Maryland man, Matt Foldi.
Oh, my God.
A man named Joseph Amir Khairi Abdallah, described as a Maryland man, of course, in the media, was arrested at the Charles E. Smith Jewish Day School in Rockville. Your alma mater, right?
Yeah, I know a thing or two about that school. And I think something that, I'm not going to assume that this was an illegal immigrant like the other Maryland man. We'll find that out sooner or later. But something that to me is sort of surprising is that my non-Jewish friends have no idea that every Jewish institution in America, for as long as I can remember, my entire lifetime, has had some sort of armed security presence there out of necessity.
Yep.
And JDS, my alma mater, where this guy was pulled over because he was circling the parking lot, refused to get out of the car, and then he had a knife and then injured two of the police officers there.
Yeah.
Thank God they were there, right? In Montgomery
Yes.
County, we've talked about this on your show, is one of the deranged liberal enclaves that briefly wanted to remove and did remove school resource officers from public schools before realizing, that's a huge disaster. So whether you look at a synagogue on Saturday or on High Holy Days or a Jewish school or a Jewish community center, unfortunately, because of the deranged anti-Semitism we see in America, the violent form of which basically is exclusively coming from jihadists and from the far left, Jews have to be under armed protection. And I kind of grew up thinking that that was normal, but A, I shouldn't have, and B, it's not normal. Most schools don't need multiple armed security guards to protect them from Maryland men armed with knives circling their parking lots. I hope that we find a lot more out about this quickly. I've already contacted my friends at DHS to try and figure out more about what was going on with this particular situation. But unfortunately, it's not an isolated incident. I was in Poland and Hungary 2 weeks ago, and so I was in Poland, the country home to Auschwitz, guys. I was statistically less likely to be firebombed or gunned down in the street in Poland in 2025 as a Jew than in America last month.
That is a remarkable
There is a serious problem with
sobering
anti-Semitism right now. And I don't know how we solve it, but I appreciate you guys talking about it.
Matt Foldi, former congressional candidate in Maryland, reporter for Spectator, and, of course, editor-in-chief of Washington Reporter, may or may not be Mossad.
And Maryland man.
Sure. And a Maryland man.
And a Maryland man. Thank you,
Matt.
Matt.
And a volunteer fireman as well. Matt, listen, we're sort of joking in the spirit of both of our ancestors, the Ashkenazi Jews. We like to make jokes. We're good comedians because there's very serious stuff going on in the world, and sometimes you have to take the edge off by laughing. But we are very obviously intently watching the events unfold there. We're glad that you're there. We're glad that you're safe. And we will continue to keep you and all of Israel in our prayers as the weekend unfolds. Stay safe, please, Matt. And really, I wanted you on just so that your mom and dad could hear you and know that you're okay.
You're amazing.
Thanks, Matt.
Talk to you guys soon.